Good evening. Welcome to our postgrads offer holders webinar. My name is Jad. I'm the Director of IT at AFG College. We are going to start the event now. You can type your questions in the Q&A section, and the presenters will be answering during the event. So thanks again for attending, and I'm handing over to Russell Williams, the Dean of the Qatar campus. Russell?
Thank you very much, Jad. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Russell Williams. I'm the Dean for the Qatar campus. We have an agenda for the session this evening. I'm going to kick it off with an introduction to the University of Aberdeen and our programs, and then we're going to hear from some of my colleagues about the student support services that are available to you here on the campus. And we're also going to hear how you can convert your application to a seat on one of the programs. Importantly, we've also got one of our alumni, former MBA alumni, Ziad, with us tonight, and he'll be giving you a graduate perspective on the programs, which will be useful. So yes, Russell Williams, Dean for the Qatar campus. I'm going to kick off to start with by saying a little bit about our university vision statement. Hopefully you've done some research about the University of Aberdeen, and you'll notice that it's celebrating its 525th anniversary this year as a notable milestone. And as a part of that, reaching that milestone, the university's undertaken significant work in fashioning its vision for 2040 in terms of where we want to be as an institution, what we're about, and what impact we seek to have on the world around us. So I'm going to say a little bit about that vision, because that will say something about the culture of the university that you'll be joining. And I'm going to do that before we move on to talk about some of our postgraduate programs. Okay, thank you, Jad. Okay, so the 2040 vision builds upon our past. Obviously, we're not going to throw away everything that's gone before us. And when the university was looking back at its past and back to its founding origins, it realized that, its central purpose remains the same. And we've kept that as a central plank in the current 2040 vision. And that plank is the pursuit of truth in the service of others. So that's central to the university and what it's about. But it's about a little bit more than that, and I'm going to go on to explain about that. What's our purpose, and how do we go on about achieving this? So obviously, educational teaching excellence and research excellence are at the core of what the university is about. The university is a top-tier university. It's in the top 1% of the world's universities, and when you consider there are well over 10,000 universities on the planet, that's a significant achievement. So you can look to the rankings to know that we are leading players in education and research. But it's important for the university that research has an impact. And so we're looking about how it transforms the world around us. And of course, the teaching that we do is about equipping you, students, to transform the world around you. The university is inclusive. We welcome students, staff from all parts of the world. On the campus in Aberdeen, there are over 120 different nationalities studying various programs. The faculty on the campus in Aberdeen is also international, and the faculty that you will experience as a part of the postgraduate programs here in Qatar is international as well. It's a subset of the University of Aberdeen faculty. We've taken a very positive direction to be interdisciplinary in our approach to education. What that means is that rather than staying inside single functional discipline areas, the university is purposefully looking at how creativity and innovation comes by the straddling of two discipline areas. So the mixing of, say, computing and business in the area of perhaps artificial intelligence or data science, and how that could be used in business is a good example of that. So we're interdisciplinary, and that approach is about generating new ways of thinking and new ways of innovating for the world around us. We're targeting this interdisciplinarity and this excellence in research and teaching. at interdisciplinary challenges. And we've picked out 5 particular themes that the university is focused on for the 2040 vision. I've said something about inclusivity. We're also international. Our alumni is global, literally global, all across the world. As I said before, we have an international student body, an international student faculty. And the fact that we are the first independent campus here in Qatar bears testimony to the international orientation of the university. We also have a campus, a medical campus in Sri Lanka. But the university also, like many of us, is concerned about the environment and wants to be sustainable. So we take a strong lead and approach in understanding and nurturing our environment. That's the physical environment that we exist in, but also the people and the resources and our students as well. So a caring and nurturing approach is central to the vision as well. Next slide, please, Jad. Okay, so I mentioned there were 5 particular themes that the university was focused on, and perhaps the one that's most obvious in its connection with Qatar is energy transition. Aberdeen is the oil and gas capital of Europe. It hosts the major oil companies' headquarters in Europe. For example, Shell, Chevron, Total have headquarters in Aberdeen. And we've had a focus on hydrocarbons, oil and gas, but we're also looking now at how that has to be a part of an energy mix. It's a part of an energy portfolio where we're looking at other sources of energy storage, and other sources of energy distribution as well. And I think that's something that we share with Qatar. University is very big on data and artificial intelligence. It has one of the first computing programs in the UK, but of course, as I said, computing now is increasingly linked to other discipline areas, and in particular, we're linking it to business, so that we're looking at how the data and how it's processed can be, mined or analyzed and then distributed to decision makers for us to make better decisions, creating better organizations and better workplaces. The environment and biodiversity has a link, of course, to energy, because we've both been in extractive industries, so they have an impact on the environment, and we're looking increasingly at how we can be sensitive to the environment around us in the natural world, but also in the built world, and how we work in that built world as well. A couple of legacy themes for the university as well is health, nutrition, and well-being. The university has a long history in food and nutrition studies, and we're carrying on with that. And we're also looking very carefully at social inclusion and cultural diversity. Both of those are sources of innovation that we as individuals and organizations and governments should be interested in. So that's the vision of the university. I'm trying to sort of share with you something about what the university is about and what you will be joining when you come to one of the programs at the University of Aberdeen. But what I really want to say is that the faculty work with you in the classroom, and we're interested to develop you as individuals so that you can make real impact and positive change in the world of work that you operate in. And that's really important for us as a university, and in particular as a business school. So I hope you find this webinar informative and useful in deciding your futures. Just before we go to a short video, just to remind you, can put questions in the Q&A part on the right-hand side. They'll be answered through the presentation, and at the end, I'll look at some of those questions as well. That'll be helpful, perhaps for all of us. We're also going to hear from, just to remind, we're going to hear from Ziad, a former student, and I think that'll be informative as well. But let's move to the next part, which is a short video.
AFG College with the University of Aberdeen is ready to welcome students for the academic year 2020 to 2021. In creating a safe and enjoyable campus experience for our students, we are committed to providing you with physical distancing measures, and enhanced hygiene procedures will be in place to help protect our community. Our team will be available to help you at every step of your journey. Our support services are currently operating. offering impartial and confidential advice on a range of issues, including personal, academic, and more. Our students are our main priority. We're adapting our teaching spaces, library, student spaces, and gyms in line with physical distancing guidelines, so you can still enjoy campus life and the sense of community. We understand how important on-campus learning is to you. We will ensure you receive the same high-quality Aberdeen student experience, albeit delivered differently, bringing you world-class education. Your safety is our concern.
Okay, thanks very much, Jad. A little bit about the campus and how we've been operating under the current pandemic conditions. Perhaps those sorts of issues are going to come up later, and we'll talk about those maybe at the end. But I'm going to run through some of the postgraduate programs that we offer and give you a little flavour about what's involved in them in terms of the approach to teaching and learning and the assessment. And then we'll perhaps we can go into more details in when we go through some of the Q&A at the end. So we are the first independent dedicated campus in Qatar offering undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. We've been here 3 years. This is year number 4 for the University of Aberdeen here in Doha. We have graduated students already from the undergraduate and postgraduate programs. For us tonight, we're interested in the postgraduate programs, and we're offering 5 postgraduate programs at the moment: the Master of Business Administration, the MSc International Business Management, the MSc International HRM, Human Resource Management, an LLM in International Commercial Law, and an education program, the IPGDE program, stroke MEd. Okay, Jad, thank you. Okay, so it's important to note that the postgraduate programs that we're offering here are identical to the programs that are delivered in Aberdeen. They have the same content, the same assessment, students receive the same degree certificates, and in many cases, the faculty that delivers in Aberdeen will be the faculty that you experience here in Doha when you're studying on the AFG campus. That's important for us because we want you to have the same high quality experience here that the students have back in Aberdeen. And the faculty are, of course, a key part of that experience. They're all eminently qualified and experienced. They're all actively engaged in research and publishing. And for many of our faculty in this business and stroke legal domain, you'll find that they will have had a professional stroke industrial career before they came to work in the university. And so they're bringing that back into the classroom experience as well. Okay, thank you. So programs are typically made up of courses. A course is another word for a module, and we would normally expect students to study full-time or part-time. Full-time is 12 months. I'm saying that with a slight caveat because the full-time program for the IBM International Business Management and the International Human Resource Management is slightly longer than 12 months, but it's a full-time program. The courses that you study, these modules, they're made up of lectures and tutorials, perhaps just as you've experienced in your undergraduate studies, but perhaps a key difference is the approach to how the interactions are happening in the classroom will be different. So at undergraduate, we would typically sit there as a student and perhaps be more passive and listen to the lecturer or the faculty in front of us. In the postgraduate arena, one of the key things is knowledge generation through discussion, problem solving, and action-orientated learning. So typically a class will work through the faculty member delivering an idea to the group. They'll give you a problem. They'll then ask you to sort of work through that problem, share your solution, and then have some reflection about, could that have been done differently? Could it be done better? How would it be done better? And through that sort of iterative process, we're looking at how theory can be applied to the world of work and its problems and issues, and how we can work out better solutions for them. As a manager and a leader of the future, your job, a large part of your job, will be problem solving. So we're rehearsing a lot of that key skill that you will require in the workplace. Okay, Jad. Okay. So I've just said they're built around theory into practice and learning by doing, this problem solving action learning approach. And I want to give you a little bit more flavor for that. I'm probably going to go ahead of myself slightly here. We're going to use lots of things to do that. We're going to use case studies, role play exercises, discussions, group work, presentations. And in all of this, teamwork, working as a team to generate solutions, plays a key part. And we also, as part of the programs, want you to reflect on that teamwork process, because that's going to be an increasingly important part of the world of work. And indeed, international team working will be an important part of that world of work. Okay, Jad. Thank you. Let me give you an example of action learning in one of the core modules that's studied on the MBA and the MSc International Business Management Program. It's the course called the Leadership Challenge. Now, how does the module work? It typically works that before you turn up, we've issued you some reading. There's also a video to watch, some self-reflection diagnoses, questionnaires. And you do all that before you turn up, so that when you reach the start line of the teaching week, what we call the delivering week, you're ready to go. And in that teaching week, you'll be introduced to some further theories and models, and you'll be asked to apply them to different contexts. Now, one of the key things in that module is that we're going to use a simulation exercise called the Everest Challenge. This is a Harvard simulation, and in a team, with each of you having a different role, you have to get your team to the top of Mount Everest, solving challenges along the way. So some of you will take on the role of a leader, some of you will take on the role of a follower with particular roles, but you have to solve a problem and get to the top. Now, learning doesn't involve just getting to the top. The important point of the simulation is what happens after that virtual learning, if you like, that gamification of a scenario. It happens through your reflection on what happened and why did it happen and how could you do it better. So some of the challenges in the Everest evolve around communication and the structuring of communication. Some of them evolve around allocating people to appropriate tasks. So the faculty member there wants you to have the experience, but they want you to reflect on it as well. And that reflection process is the key element of learning. And that's just typical of one of the courses. So back to these courses and a little bit more nuts and bolts type information. Each course has a credit rating of 15 or 30 credits. Each credit equates to 10 hours. So a 15 credit course is 150 hours of learning, and a 30 credit course is 300 hours of learning. But of course, that's all not spent in the classroom. Some of that time is in the classroom. Some of that time is in the preparation you do before you come to the classroom. Some of it is also then used in your preparing of assignments and attending of support workshops afterwards. So I guess what that piece of information is trying to tell you, or we're trying to convey to you, is that the programs require significant input from you in terms of your time. They require you to dedicate time to your study. You have to learn to focus, you have to learn to manage your time effectively, and you have to learn to work effectively. Those are key elements of all postgraduate programs. So I've said before that each course is made up of those sort of three elements: a preparation period, independent directed reading or watching videos or doing small activities, a delivery stroke teaching period where you're with the faculty member intensively over 1 week. And our classes are typically Sunday to Thursday from 4 till 8:30, with of course breaks and teamwork involved in those classes. And then after that, you are in the assessment period, which is when you are researching and preparing your course assessments. Now, on assessment, when you get to postgraduate study, things change again a little bit. And in particular, when you're doing management programs or law programs in postgraduate, the role of the exam seems to diminish, because it's not a brilliant way of testing the kind of skills and knowledge and understanding you're going to need in the workplace. So instead, a typical course will involve different types of assessment in what we would call continuous assessment or assignment. So I've picked managing change as a course as an example. You do an essay on that course for 70% of the marks, and then you do a group poster for the balance of the 30% of the marks. In the marketing management course, which is on the MSc IBM, again, there's an individual report. That report is about, it's a marketing report, actually, it's a marketing plan, and you also do a presentation of that marketing plan as a group. And so those are the two assessed elements. If you're studying on the law, the module that they've just finished, the LLM module, corporate governance, involves an individual essay on a point of law, and then you have a conversation to demonstrate your understanding of corporate governance principles with the faculty professor. And that's typically a 20-minute conversation for the balance of the marks. So I'm saying that there are no formal exams on the MBA, the MSc, or the LLM program, but what I will add just before we move on is that that does not make the program easy. We are testing students in different ways. We're giving you opportunities to show your knowledge, understanding, and skill through reports, presentations, briefing notes, essays, posters, and other formats. And that's important, I think, for your learning. Okay, so let's have a little look at what you would study. Here we've got the MBA program. It's 12 taught courses. You'll notice that the taught courses really divide themselves into functional courses. So, you know, they mirror the functions of a company. So, for example, a marketing department, an HR department, the operations department, the accounting department. There are then modules based around you as a manager and leader. So things like leadership challenge, that asks you to reflect on what leadership is, how do you lead? Can you have a repertoire of leadership approaches? Managing change, because that's also what leaders and managers do. Invariably, they're looking to move a part or the whole organization from A to B, whatever that might be. Talking to teams, it's going to be a key element of your management stroke leadership role. And then the other modules are a little bit about, you know, structures inside the organization or the marketplace, things like strategy and supply chain management. And increasingly, because of the role of digital, we have a module on digital marketing in the program as well. The next program is the MSc International Business Management. This has some similar elements to the MBA program, but it's a little bit more focused on the international, with modules on internationalization, reflecting on how organizations go global, how they move their business from the local market to overseas markets. Has a module on issues in international management. That's not so much about getting to different markets, that's about managing your organization across different market spaces. And it also has a module on interpersonal management and negotiation. And in that module, a key element will be the role of culture in interpersonal management and negotiation. The HRM program, it's obviously much more focused, and it's focused on the HR, and the purpose of the program is for working with those individuals that are looking to become an HR partner. HR is becoming an increasingly important function of a company, because many companies now reflect that their main asset, it's not necessarily their equipment or their machinery, it's their people. So HR has a central role in the recruitment, the retention, and the development of the people. And this program is focused around those key elements of the HR function. It's slightly different, this program as well, in that you also do a project, which you don't do on the previous two programs that we looked at. Okay. I'm going to hand over now to Marwa. I was going to tell you a little bit about the law program, but I'm going to hand you over to Marwa, who'll say a little bit about student services. Over to you, Marwa. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to AFG College with the University of Aberdeen. This is Marwa Siddiq. I'm the Student Support and Disability Officer. I'll be giving you a quick introduction about the services provided at Student Hub. Student Hub are available to help you with a wide range of matters related to your studies at AFG College with the University of Aberdeen. Also, we provide you with all the information, advice, support, and guidance in both academic and non-academic matters. The Student Hub team offers confidential support to all students unless we need to share information to academic or non-academic staff, of course, after getting the permission from students. The Student Hub team can help you with student letters, for example, enrollment letter, GPA letter, sponsorship reporting, attendance monitoring, online services, which is My Aberdeen and Blackboard. These are the platforms that our students are using to submit their assignments and to check their grades. Also, we are helping the students with all the requirements needed to study at the main campus in Scotland. Also, changing degree programs. For the non-academic services, we have student clubs, internal and external events, as well as workshops. That's it for Student Hub. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Marwa. My name is Ziad Saqar, and I am a postgraduate alumni. And I was honored to be from the very first batch of MBA program back in the years 2018 and 2019. And I'm here to share with you some highlights of my journey with the AFG, with the University of Aberdeen. It all started with the admission, where we have received some ads about starting the new program of the MBA in Qatar, and we immediately communicate the admission office, where they clarify to us what are the requirements, the documentation, how the process of applying, and what to submit, in which language, and all the documentation. Then the document submitted to the university, and thanks for the team, of course. It was very clear, and when you submit everything, you receive the acknowledgement that you are entitled to supply the original documentation, to take the copies and carry on. Then we start with the program, which was like a very smooth journey. Let me start with the premises, of like very efficient labs, study groups, the library. The materials was, let's say, a combination of interactive labs, quiz, ebooks, and of course you can go to the library and get the books for the materials. And of course the lines with the instructors was very open and very casual, so you can anytime communicate the instructor asking for some clarifications or like for some explanations for any item which you think that it is not clear in the material. Of course, I have to mention that the support which we received was like ultimate, because for us, we were like professionals spending half of our times in our work, and then we have to go to the university. So we will be like under some pressure, and this support eased this pressure a lot. And let me also emphasize for something here that you have to decide whether to go for full-time or part-time based on your like timing or like the effort which you can like spend in this program. However, the university is always there to discuss any choice you decide. Then we can move to the results and feedback. So whenever you have the material and then you go and submit the papers, whether it is essay, whether it is like multiple questions, quiz, or like group work, then you have to go through the Blackboard, which was easy to use, and it was like an efficient tool to communicate with the faculty and with the instructors and the students. And of course, you can get the results immediately after that using the same Blackboard access. Of course, after succeeding with the 12 modules in the MBA, you are now entitled to graduate from the university. So I still remember our graduation ceremony, which was held in the Ritz-Carlton here in Doha. It was one of the best ceremonies I ever attended. And also I had the chance and the honor also to go and attend the authentic graduation ceremony in Aberdeen in Scotland, and it was like something exceptional with all the heritage there and the history, which you can see everywhere. After that, we got the documentation and the MBA certificate from the university. And here I have to mention something very important for all students in Qatar, because we always worried about the accreditation of the certificate and how we can get this attestation, plus also getting extra copies of the certificate. I would like to tell you that, number one, University of Aberdeen is fully accredited here in Qatar, and it took me like few minutes to go to the Ministry of Education and Higher Education to get my MBA certificate stamped. And then it took me another 5 minutes to go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also to get the attestation on that. So I can guarantee that it is a smooth process. Nonetheless, also you can easily go to these. There is like online store in the Aberdeen, University of Aberdeen, where you can order extra copies of your transcript. However, for the certificate, you cannot apply for extra copy unless you have a damaged certificate. Then after that, the story is not ended yet. So being an alumni with the University of Aberdeen is like something amazing. It's a nice journey. So being an MBA, for me at least, it's like not only academic acknowledgement, it's also social acknowledgement, and it's very useful for my practical life, because now whenever I go either to fill application to a job or immigration or for any kind of applications, you are now entitled to say that I am Master of Business Administration, and you can say that it is something very good, especially when getting this certificate from highly reputed university like University of Aberdeen. Finally, thank you very much for attending this webinar. Thank you to the family of University of Aberdeen, and I'm really honored to be one of this family. Thank you very much. Now I'm handing over to Rina from Career and Internship Manager.
I'm just going to say something, Rina, before we go. Thanks very much, Ziad. I had the honor of, I remember, Ziad, in the first course that you did at the university, of listening to your strategy presentation, which was an analysis of a position in an existing market or that blue ocean new market. And those very first presentations that everyone were doing in their MBA, they were brilliant. Okay, Rina, over to you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry, let me, since we talked about it, I would like to thank you, because that day I came to know the credibility of this university, because you spent the time to attend this presentation and you spent the time to show me that I did something wrong, and you guided me how to analyze the problem and go through it in very academic and practical way. Thank you very much, Russell.
Okay, yeah, thanks very much for your compliments. Rina, over to you.
Thank you, Ziad. Thank you, Russell. My name is Ghena El-Kasti. I'm the Careers and Internship Manager. As you can see, when choosing a study to a postgraduate program, you are already on a path of career development and professional development, as you have noticed from the student experience with Ziad. Some of you might have chosen to continue their education and master's degree if you're looking to apply to a higher position or improve in your current job, or even apply to a different sector. And some of you even, they are looking into creating their own companies or firms or services. And others might be also on their way to continuing in an academic field and on their way to their PhD. Whichever the case it is, we want you to know that at the University of Aberdeen, we're always here to support your career development, whether it is in the classroom or outside the classroom. And this is why we are here to offer career and internship or career and employability services to all the students who are studying at Qatar campus, in collaboration as well with the main campus in Aberdeen. And how do we achieve that? I can tell you briefly that in our three different pillars. The first one is that we help students explore what they can do with their degrees and get to know more about the resources and help them or guide them throughout their studies in different ways of appointment, be it a virtual advisor appointment or an appointment to review your CV, or a way to prepare you for an important interview that is coming next, and even to explore what you can do with your degrees from the different resources. Second of all is, if you can go to the next slide, is to develop the skills. Even though you are in a place right now that you may have developed a lot of the workplace skills, and some of you might have an extensive experience in the workplace. But if there's one thing that this year has taught us, is that we really need to be flexible and we need to always learn new skills. And one of the things that we learned this year is that how to move virtually, or how to lead teams virtually, how to be resilient and flexible. And there are many skills that keep on adding to our knowledge and our professional development. So we're always here to provide different areas and programs, co-curricular programs that are offered either to undergraduate students or both undergraduate and postgraduate students. One of which is the Employability Boost Award, as you can see, the last one in those programs. And why I want to highlight this one, because it's in collaboration with many employers who provide sector insights, who also give a workshop on different skills that might benefit the students in increasing their employability. In addition to other programs like the professional skills courses, leadership academy, career mentorship program, and Star Awards. But we can discuss this further and get to know more about this during your induction days. The way we look at our services with the postgraduate programs is not only us as provider of services or skills to the students, but also as a collaboration. Some of you might be already working in recruitment departments in companies. Others might be owners of startups. So we do have a lot of networking events, employer insight sessions, and working on aiming on adding more career fairs and networking events that will benefit the students. So whether you want to participate in these as students or as a person who are looking for employment, you can do that, but also you can apply or participate in like a partner in those programs. Where you can find us, we are located in the Student Hub in Villa 2, and you can reach us either by email or by phone call, and we're also happy to meet in person or via Zoom. This is it for me for now, and these are some of the pictures that we held for the career fair, which was in February 2020. Whether we are moving things virtually or keeping things in person, following the guidelines is something that we will definitely know during next semester. But we're always happy to provide you with all the services and guidance that you need, or discuss your career planning throughout your journey at Aberdeen. Thank you very much, and I'll leave it now to my colleague Khaled to discuss more what's next.
Thank you very much, Lina. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everybody. I hope all is well. My name is Khaled Al-Sharawi. I'm the Student Outreach Officer and Course Advisor for the University of Aberdeen, and I'll be talking to you about the steps of enrolling after you've applied to the university. So once we send you your offer, you would need to accept the offer within 2 weeks of receiving the acceptance. You can sign the offer and scan it up, send it to us by email, or you can drop it off at our campus and hand it to myself or one of the other course advisors. You would then, some of you who have got conditional offers, you need to satisfy your conditions, and that would be on your acceptance letter, whether it's a second language English examination or you've got finished your bachelor's degree. You would need to meet the conditions before you enroll. You would also, after you've accepted the offer, you would need to pay the deposit fee. Now, this deposit fee will be deducted from your total tuition fees throughout the year or 2 years. And then after you've satisfied the conditions, you would need to pay the first installment in order to be cleared for registration. Next slide, please. So the steps to enroll. There are 6 steps here. Accept your offer, satisfy conditions, registration fees, tuition fees, IT registration, and the academic induction. So for the MBA program, the first installment you'd have to pay by the 29th of December 2020, and that's for the late registration applicants. The IT registration will be from the 3rd and 4th of January 2021, where you'll get your student email and your student ID. The academic induction week will be from the 10th of January until the 14th of January, where you'll be given the information about your course and what you'll be doing throughout that period of time, whether you're a full-time or part-time student. And you'd begin the actual course itself on the 17th of January 2021. For the Master of Science in International Human Resources, the first instalment would be the 5th of January 2021. IT registration is the 12th and 13th of January, where again, you'd be getting your student email and your student ID from there. The academic induction week for that is from the 17th until the 21st of January. And finally, your start date would be on the 24th of January 2021. Now, International Business Management, the first deposit would be the 30th of December 2020. And then your first installment will be on the 12th of January 2021. The IT registration, 25th and 26th of January. The academic induction from the 31st of January until the 4th of February. And finally, your start date would be the 7th of February for the International Business Management. Thank you very much. If there is any questions, please ask us and we'll be more than happy to help you.
Thank you very much, Khalid. Just to reiterate, Khalid's given some very important dates there. The academic induction dates, those are those weeks that are timetabled, then they're very important because that's about onboarding you to the university and to postgraduate study. So I would be meeting you along with other faculty members on the campus in small groups to run through with you some key study skills and also to look at some of the technology that we'll be using or you will be using with the faculty to study. And something about the university's portal, which is where we place all of the learning materials. So that's a really important week, the academic induction week. And the start date is really the first delivery week when teaching proper starts on your program with the faculty member. In the case of the MBA, it's business strategy, the first module on the program. In the case of the MSc International HRM, it's leadership, the first module on the program. And in the case of HRM, it's the context of business as the first module on the program. Okay, so what we're going to do now to sort of wrap up is we've had some questions come into the chat facility on the right-hand side. There's still time for people to put questions into the chat facility. Some people have had answers, but I'm going to run through some of those questions as well. And if you've got any late questions, pop them in and I'll try and come with an answer. And then we'll also see if any of the panel here tonight also want to add in any last thoughts after we've done that. So let me just mute my camera and go to the questions. Okay, so what we got as questions? Will classes be virtual or present in the campus? So at the moment we're operating under Ministry of Education and Higher Education guidelines, which means it's a blended learning approach. So we're trying our best to have face-to-face contact in the circumstances that we can. It won't all be face-to-face, so we'll be using the virtual classroom. And that has to carry on until the ministry moves the country to the next phase and allows more individuals to come to the classroom. The university is very clear that your safety and the safety of your fellow classmates and the faculty and everyone who comes onto the campus has to be the top priority in this. But we have successfully now delivered all of those programs in this blended learning approach in Aberdeen, and we've been delivering them here in Qatar. So it works, we know it works, and the virtual classroom it's a good learning tool and facility matched with some face-to-face activities. So just on an example, on the MBA, one of the courses that you'll be doing is strategic marketing. You will have some virtual lectures with a faculty member called Tony Grimes. Ziad can nod if he remembers Tony. And on the campus, we'll be running a simulation. We'll have you in small teams, and you'll be running a simulation in your small team, which is about running the marketing department of a voice recognition software market. So it'll be a mix of face-to-face and virtual. Okay. Next question is about how does the course run? So you only ever study one thing at a time, one course at a time. So a course is just another word for module, and each of those courses or module has three elements: a preparation period, a delivery period where you're on campus or in a classroom virtually, and then an assessment period. And once that one course is over, you move on to the next course. And the MBA has 12 of those for you to complete. The MSc has 11 of them for you to complete. The HRM program has 8 and a dissertation for you to complete. So you do one thing at a time, and you move through a three cycle element of for each module. Okay, the duration of the program, well, the MBA is 12 months full-time or 24 months part-time. The IBM for January students or the HRM for January students is 14 months. Let's see what other questions we've got. How is the lecture style going to work? Well, typically, as I sort of alluded in the talk, your job as a student on a postgraduate program is not to sit there and just listen. That would be deadly boring and is not a very effective way of learning. The faculty are there to give you ideas, approaches, tools, techniques, theory, knowledge, and then to give you a problem and for you to have a go at solving the problem and present your findings. And we'll then discuss the findings, reflect on the findings, and see what alternatives there can be. It's a theory into practice approach through problem-based learning. That's the typical way that a postgraduate program works in business. So very different from maybe your undergraduate experience where it was just listen to somebody at the front. That will not be happening on the postgraduate programs. Okay, somebody said there's a very specific question about sponsorship. That question will have to go in on the email to the recruitment admissions team. Just scrolling down. Some repeats of questions. Somebody has asked, Jad, if we can just go back to the MBA program and its contents. Can we tab through to the MBA program and its contents, Jad? That would be brilliant. Might be useful just to reflect on that and the following program. So there's the MBA program, the 12 modules that you have to do. They cover those core areas of a business, the functional areas, HRM, marketing, accounting. They look at supply chain, which is a key element of all organizations now, digital marketing, and then a lot of personal skills or interpersonal skills about you as a leader and thinking about what you as a leader do in terms of managing change and also, you know, communicating with individuals, talking to teams. It's a skill. The MSc program, let's have a little look at that, Jad, if we can move to the next one. There's the MSc program, a little bit more focused, as I said, around international business, some common core elements that are important for both programs, but that process of going from selling internally to selling internationally, however that form may take, is there in internationalization. And then how you manage an international organization, is there in Institutes in International Management. The critical studies paper is a focused literature about a specific area in the domain of international business management. The HRM program, it's all focused on HRM, as you can see there. And remember, it's all about developing you to be what they call now an HR partner. That's the modern speak. And that's about recruiting, developing, and retaining talent. HR has taken on a much more strategic role in an organization, and this program is set up to reflect that strategic role in an organization. Okay, I'm scrolling down for some more questions now. When and where can we get the academic calendar? That's come in. If you email into the admissions team, they can send you out the calendar for each program details the weeks that you are required to be on campus for each of those 3 programs. Somebody's asked, is there an overall GPA or percentage? Does that may mean the way that we score you. We score you on a GPA, and that's a GPA based on something called an alphanumeric. It sounds a bit complicated, but it's a scale of 0 to 22, and it's called the Common Grading Scale. It's a grading scale that's used at lots of universities. But overall, at the end of your program, we average your grades out, and the average score that you get will depend on whether you get the MBA or the MBA with commendation or the MBA with distinction, one of those 3 denoted degrees. Somebody's asked if they can still apply during the coming week. Well, we're open tomorrow, and then university is shut for a week. And then if you're very quick, you will be able to apply the week after that. The MBA, somebody's, and of course the MSc IBM is the program that starts in February. So there's a little bit more time for that one. So you can see the key dates that are coming through here. If you're thinking of applying, you need to get your paperwork in now. The counselling team, student advisors, can update you on everything you need to do and the deadlines that you need to do that. Somebody's asked about those courses. Remember, the courses are taught in the delivery week, and the teaching is from around about 4:30 p.m. till 8 p.m. Sunday to Thursday. Okay, I'm moving down a little bit more. Do we need to do projects as part of the MBA program? Well, projects are one of the key ways that you will be assessed for your knowledge, understanding, and the particular skills that we're looking to develop or for you to demonstrate in particular courses. So there are no formal exams. It's this continuous different forms of assessment. Right, well, I've come to the end of the questions. I'm going to just open it back up a minute. I've got Dr. Lynn Batchelor, who's the University of Aberdeen Director of Studies here. But I wonder if Ziad, if you had any just thoughts. You've sat there and listened to me, but of course you've sat there and listened to me on the other side as a student as well. Any other thoughts that you would like to add?
Well, I would like also to say that it is, I would just like to add that it's very obvious that this is very reputed program and you have to work hard, as you said. So that always remember that, go ask, seek for the information, don't feel shy, just go forward, go straight to the point. The instructors are there to help you, and this is one of the best things I have ever seen, because I didn't keep any question to myself, and it's always been said that the only wrong question, the one which is not asked. So I would encourage everyone, once you start this program, just work hard and be sure that you will be rewarded because of that. It is not impossible, it's doable always. Just spend efforts and you will be rewarded, and that's it. It's very easy.
Okay, Ziad, thanks very much. I think we do like to think that all of the faculty that deliver on the program are very approachable, and they're there to support and help you develop yourself as a professional. I'm wondering if Lynn is there, whether you want to say anything, Lynn. Lynn also delivers on the program. She delivers new venture creation. Are you there, Lynn?
I'll turn on my microphone. Yes, I am. So thanks for the introduction. I've begun my role as Director of Studies just at the end of November, but I've delivered the new venture creation course for the last 2 years. So the first year in Doha in person, and then in August this year it was totally online because nobody was coming into their workplaces, and I was based in Edinburgh, so I had no opportunity to come. But one of the things that really impressed me with the students that I was seeing was how thirsty everybody is for knowledge, and how good the questions are to help us as lecturers shape the content of our courses. So you might be thinking, what use is new venture creation to me in my career where I want to be the director of a medical centre? Well, the idea is to teach you through other experiences how you can be more innovative in your current roles and therefore be a better leader and have more promotion opportunities opened up to you. But I've really enjoyed my contact with all the students in Doha, and what is the key strength of the student body is the diversity of their backgrounds and their employment. So what you're gaining is not only the education, but you're gaining a cohort of people who may be your employers and your referees as you travel through your career.
Okay, Lynn, that's brilliant. Thanks so much. I have one final reflection, and that's based on something that Rena said. It is the case that students that are coming through the MSc program, we have students now who are looking to progress onto PhD, and I think we've got one due to start her PhD shortly, looking at corporate governance in Islamic banking and finance. And we also have another one who's come through the MBA program that's currently preparing a proposal to look at teledentistry and the effectiveness of teledentistry here in Qatar. So yes, it's about personal development in your workplace and your job and your career, and that's brilliant. That's really the purpose of an MBA, and often the main reason people are seeking these programs. But other people are using them to access higher education still, and that's possible through these programs as well. So I'm going to end now. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attention. Please feel free to email or call in to the university here in Doha if you've got any questions. The counsellors, the student advisors are here to help and support you in the application process. And for many of you, I hope to see you in January when I welcome students to the induction for the New Start programs in January 2021. Thank you, everyone, and good evening.